Hello everyone, this is Professor Gardner. I just wanted to check in with you. Um, well, we made it through Titus Andronicus. It is definitely a rough play. I think it's the hardest play from the sense of graphic violence that we're going to deal with. It won't be the only tragedy. Of course, we'll get into Othello in a little bit, but it certainly is the only revenge tragedy. We will not have to deal with any mothers in the future eating their children in baked pies, which is a particular convention of Senecan revenge tragedy. So that was not an innovation of Shakespeare. He is definitely recalling that Senecan tradition of the revenge tragedy by doing that. So no more of that. We're moving on to a history play, and that's what lecture will be devoted to this week. Both the history of the Plantagenets, that's the family that Henry IV, Part 1 is based on. We'll be reading the first couple of acts from that play. And I will also be talking about and referring you to some resources that can help you better appreciate not only the history, but also the conventions of a history play. So this is the third genre that we are covering. We began with comedy, and then we moved to tragedy and a subset of that, revenge tragedy, and now history. The other thing that I wanted to bring your attention to are the practice quizzes. The practice, I've posted a few practice quizzes for the last, for Titus Andronicus, both lecture and reading questions. These, like I said, they are only practice. They don't impact your grade. What they really are a set of questions that you should know the answers to. You should go and look up how do you respond to those particular questions, because it's very likely that you will see some of those questions again, either word for word or in some form of that on the midterm, which will be coming up in a few weeks. After basically at the conclusion of Henry IV Part 1, we'll be taking the midterm. So the quizzes will be blacked out at the time that the midterm is opened. So take this opportunity now to review those practice quizzes, to go and look up the answers, and if you have questions about either the wording of the questions or about the answers, you're struggling to find them, please let me know in your journal, or more quickly just by emailing me, and I'll get back to you as soon as I can. I look forward to hearing your perspectives on 1 Henry IV, and especially the very lively characters of Prince Hal and Falstaff. I imagine this as something of a version of a Shakespearean buddy comedy. At least they're buddies at first. We'll have to look and see how that relationship develops. Very different tone than what we experienced with Titus Andronicus, and much more historically relevant and accurate than Titus Andronicus. Whereas Titus is based generally in Roman history, there's not an actual Titus Andronicus, emperor or king or member of the Senate. There is some source that Shakespeare did base Titus Andronicus on, but again, it's another story-based source, not necessarily a historical primary source. That's not the case with 1 Henry IV. Henry IV and Henry V, the two historical figures that we have in this play, they are members of the Plantagenet family. And like I said, I'll be giving you more information on that this week. So please send me questions or concerns. I'll get back to you as soon as I can. Otherwise, have a good week.